You're in a massive corporate boardroom, a place where decisions that shape the future are made. The polished glass walls reflect the power and prestige of the people who sit there. But amidst the high-flying executives, there's someone who doesn't belong in their world at all. He's wearing worn-out sneakers and a faded uniform, pushing a cleaning cart. He's not part of the boardroom's hierarchy, but he's about to show everyone just how much power can come from kindness. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to Kindness in Action, and comment below if you've ever witnessed a small act of kindness that made a big impact. We love hearing your stories and sharing the good in the world. It was another quiet morning in the sleek, glass-walled headquarters of a successful tech company. The CEO, Mark Williams, was prepping for an important international meeting. People were coming in from all over the world, and the atmosphere was buzzing with the promise of deals that could change lives. In the corner of the building, however, life wasn't quite as glamorous for Alex Foster. He wasn't a CEO or a high-ranking executive. He was the janitor. Alex had been cleaning the building for years, ever since his wife passed away, leaving him to raise their 2 young kids on his own. The job didn't pay well, but it gave him flexible hours, allowing him to pick up his kids from school and make sure they were taken care of. The work was often lonely, quiet, and repetitive. But Alex was grateful for it. He didn't need much. He just wanted to make sure his kids had what they needed, and he could give them the love they deserved. Today, as usual, Alex was cleaning the boardroom, the place where the real business happened. He was used to seeing the high-ranking executives shuffle in and out, taking no notice of him. But there was one thing that made this day different. A group of international guests had arrived, and the boardroom was full of people speaking in all kinds of languages, from Mandarin to German to French. Alex was just finishing mopping the floor when he heard one of the visitors asking a question to the CEO's translator. The conversation was getting a bit heated. The translator, a young woman named Maria, was working hard to translate the foreign language to English, but something was off. The words she was using didn't seem to be matching up with what the guest had said. The guest, a Chinese businessman named Li Wei, leaned forward, speaking slowly and carefully. Maria translated, but when she spoke, it sounded like she had missed a key nuance in Li Wei's tone. Alex, though busy cleaning, knew enough of Mandarin from the years he spent living abroad in China before coming back to the States. He didn't speak it fluently, but he understood more than enough to catch the mistake. The translator had misunderstood the tone and intent of Li Wei's words. Alex hesitated for a moment. He wasn't part of the conversation. He wasn't part of the meeting. Who was he to step in? But something in him nudged him forward. Maybe it was because of his kids. He was always teaching them the importance of being honest, helpful, and brave. He thought, what would I want my kids to do in this situation? With his mop in hand, he walked over to the boardroom door. He peeked his head inside. Maria was still speaking, still getting it wrong, and Mark Williams, the CEO, was frowning slightly, looking uncertain. Li Wei seemed a bit frustrated. Alex cleared his throat. "Excuse me, sir," he said, addressing the CEO, "I think I can help with the translation." Mark looked up, surprised. The boardroom fell silent. The guests, the CEO, and the translator all stared at Alex, the janitor, standing there in his uniform. For a moment, Alex thought he might be thrown out of the room. But then, Mark nodded. "Go ahead," he said. "You've got something to say." So, Alex stepped forward. Slowly, he corrected the translator word for word, explaining exactly what Li Wei had meant. He spoke calmly and clearly, his tone not demanding, just precise. Maria looked at him, then at Li Wei, and then back at Alex. "I see what you mean," she said quietly. Mark turned to Li Wei, who smiled. "Ah, yes," Li Wei said, his frustration melting into understanding. "That is exactly what I meant." For a few seconds, the room was still, but there was an unspoken shift in the air. Mark Williams glanced at Alex, then at the translator, and then he looked around the room at the other executives. The tension dissolved. "Thank you, Alex," Mark said, offering a warm smile. "We appreciate the help." Alex nodded, his heart racing. He was just a janitor. He wasn't supposed to be part of this world. But today, in this moment, his willingness to speak up had bridged a gap. Not just between two languages, but between two very different worlds. He walked back to his cleaning cart, the weight of the moment settling in. Mark called after him. "Alex, wait a second." He turned back, still not quite sure what to expect. Mark Williams stood up from his seat and extended a hand. "I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've never seen someone do something like that. That was brave. You're not just cleaning up the floors, Alex. You've got a real gift." Alex felt his throat tighten. "It was nothing, sir. Just helping out." "No," Mark insisted. "It was something. You're more than just a janitor. I'm serious. I think you've got a lot to offer." The meeting wrapped up shortly after, and the guests left with smiles and handshakes. Alex returned to his usual routine. But his heart had been lifted in a way that no paycheck could ever